What really is 3I Atlas? With the news on July 1, 2025, of the official identification of the third interstellar object to pass through the solar system, after Oumuamua and Borisov, a controversy quickly spread across the internet. So, what is this object? The orbit of this object indicates that it is not gravitationally bound to the Sun, which proves its interstellar origin. According to most astronomers, 3I Atlas is just a new comet that has a very solid and frozen nucleus and possibly originates from a region of the Milky Way called the Thick Disk, where there is a population of older stars and more vertically distributed above and below the main plane of the galaxy. The release of dust, ice, and gases that is occurring as it approaches the Sun is consistent with the sublimation of volatile materials frozen in its nucleus due to the increase in temperature. This is typical comet behavior. However, as it approaches the Sun, the object begins to exhibit a coma, which is a tail of gas and dust formed by elements that escape from its nucleus as the temperature increases. This coma, when analyzed by the instruments of the James Webb Space Telescope, is unusually rich in elements such as carbon dioxide, cyanide gas, and nickel vapor, which are compounds attributed to its ancient and interstellar origin. But it is not very different from comets originating from the Oort cloud that surrounds the solar system. However, there are scientists such as Dr. Avi Loeb who say that although the data collected from this new object clearly points to an extrasolar comet with an unusual composition by our standards, it is necessary to observe some anomalies such as its trajectory, which is aligned with the plane of the Sun's ecliptic, which is the plane where the planets orbit around the Sun, and the chance of this happening, according to his team, is extremely remote for a natural object. Regarding this near-ecliptic trajectory with the Sun, it is also suggested that it causes the object to pass relatively close to three planets: Mars, before its perihelion, Venus, and Jupiter, as it moves away from the Sun. This is also considered very unlikely to occur. At perihelion, 3I Atlas will be, conveniently, in opposition to planet Earth, that is, at its closest proximity to the Sun, on October 29, 2025, at a distance of 1.36 astronomical units, which is equivalent to 203 million kilometers. It will be on the other side of the Sun and cannot be seen by terrestrial telescopes. This trajectory, which doesn't invalidate the hypothesis that it's a natural object, according to these scholars, is more characteristic of an intelligently controlled artificial object. Besides passing by specific planets, it manages to hide behind the Sun at its closest point and most visible to the curious eyes of humanity. These scholars also argue that the object's hardness is more similar to metal than to rock or ice, that expelled elements such as nickel vapor are typically generated by industrial processes, and finally, that the luminosity at the front cannot be explained solely by the reflection of sunlight in dust and ice, but rather by the emission of artificial light. To date, empirical evidence strongly favors the natural origin of 3I Atlas as an interstellar comet with a peculiar composition. However, the controversy surrounding the possibility of an artificial origin demonstrates how interstellar objects function as tests of the limits of scientific knowledge. Each new discovery challenges models, raises alternative hypotheses, and fuels debates that extend far beyond astronomy, reaching philosophy, astrobiology, and even popular culture.